In this video, I'm going to talk about one major problem that a lot of parents face when it comes to teaching their children learn to read. And this is the challenge of blending. I come across a lot of parents on a daily basis where parents share that my child knows all the sounds, but they face problem when it comes to blending. Some share that we've tried every method and technique, but my child still struggles with blending. So what is the reason why majority of children face this struggle with blending? So you need to understand the idea behind what needs to happen to make your child a confident reader and to take away their struggle when it comes to blending. Now, a lot of reading programs, a lot of schools do not work upon developing and working with one major skill. And I call this the most vital skill to confident reading and spelling. And this skill is called the phonemic awareness skill. Now, this is a vast topic, and I've got a few other videos where I've spoken about the phonemic awareness skill in details. But for now, and trying to relate this to the blending struggle, you need to understand one thing, that if your child cannot hear the individual sounds that create a word, the child will always struggle with blending. So if your child cannot blend orally, they would always find challenges when it comes to reading words from the printed text. So what is the solution to this problem? And how, as a parent, you can go about developing this most vital skill of phonemic awareness in your child. So let's talk about this. So I'm going to share with you an amazing and powerful technique and method called the oral blending. Now, oral blending has two stages here, which I'm going to share with you. And in the first stage, you segment, stretch, blend words orally, and your child will repeat the same after you. Okay, and repeat this again. Under this method, you need to segment, stretch, blend words orally, and your child will repeat the same after you. So let's consider the example of the word bat. So you have to segment, stretch, blend the word bat, and the child will repeat the same after you. Bat, bat. And the child will repeat the same bat, bat once you are done with this. Let's take another word. Cob, cob. Let your child repeat the same after you. Let's take another word. Sun, sun. Repeat the same after me. Sun, sun. Perfect. Let's take another word. Dog, dog. Repeat the same after me. Dog, dog. Let's take another word. Bus, bus. Repeat the same after me. Bus, bus. So I request you to do this and follow this method for a few days, where you are segmenting, stretching, blending words orally, and your child is repeating the same after you. So this is the first stage of oral blending. Now, after you've practiced this for a few days, you can move to the next stage of oral blending, where you segment and stretch the sounds in a word and let your child blend those sounds for you. Okay? So to make my point clear, I'm going to take a few words here, and this is how you're going to do it. So I'm going to segment and stretch the individual sounds in these words, pause for a bit, and let the child blend those sounds for me. Okay? I will pause, and the child will blend it, cub, for me. App, pause, and let the child blend the sounds and say the word tap for me. So the idea is you only segment stretch the sounds, and the child will blend those sounds to say the words for you. Okay, so let's take a few more examples. And the child will say van. App, the child will say nap. On, and the child will say sun. Now, if your child is not comfortable blending the sounds directly, you can ask the child to segment and stretch those sounds after you've done it for them, and then they can blend the final sounds to say that word. For example, you say the all, and the child will repeat the same, the all doll. Okay, so the idea is just to give that chance for them to segment stretch the sounds and then allow them to blend those sounds to say that. Now it's very important for you to note here that the child is not allowed to read the words that I've given in this PPT. These words are strictly meant for oral blending purpose only. So what I mean by oral blending is that these words are for your reference, which you are going to segment and stretch for the child, and the child is only going to blend these words orally. So at this stage, there is no reading happening. The child is not going through these words and reading them. That is not at all needed at this stage. As the word suggests, oral blending. This means that the blending here is happening orally only. Now, additional to this method, you can also encourage your child to start segmenting. Now, in segmenting, you give a word to the child, and the child will segment, stretch the individual sounds of that word for you. Let's take a few examples. So I will tell the child the word cub. So the child will segment, stretch the individual sounds in the word cub for me. This way. Cub. I will give another word, tap. And the child will say, tap, tap. Perfect. I will give the third word, van. And the child will segment, stretch the individual sounds as van, van. Let's take another example. I'll give the word boss. And the child will segment the individual sounds as boss, boss. I'll give another word, tab. And the child will segment the individual sounds tab, tab. So the process of segmenting is the reverse of blending. In blending, you segment the individual sounds and blend those sounds together to create a word. In segmenting, you do the opposite, where you give an entire word to the child and the child will segment the individual sounds in that word for you. So start working with these three methods. In fact, two methods, which is oral blending and oral segmenting. See how your child progresses over the next few days with these methods. Once they have mastered these three techniques and methods, You can then start the child to practice the actual blending and reading of words. And you can use the smooth blending method that I had shared in the previous video. Keep me posted about your child's progress of you implementing these methods with them, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.